Hello, YouTube land. I'm here to give you guys a honest review and pretty much talk about my bike a little bit. First off, I just want to say I'm Puerto Rican, born in Puerto Rico, and lived in New York most of my life. Now I am located in Arizona. So that's pretty much done. Now I want to introduce you to my lovable bike right here, the Specialized CT disc. CT as in Crosstrails. To my understanding, this bike is supposed to be a hybrid. So it's pretty much a mix of a commuter's bike, or let's just say road bike mixed with mountain bike. What kind of mountain bike? Well, people that are pretty pros, they know the difference. You have trail bikes and cross-country bikes. So this falls more of a mix of a road bike into a cross-country bike. Once again, this is a Specialized CT disc. I've been through YouTube, and I've pretty much found maybe one review on this bike. So coming from ex-bike messenger, I just feel like, you know what? My first YouTube video, let me talk about my bike. So let's start off with my favorite part of the bike, the wheels. The wheels are pretty much badass. Excuse the language, but it is what it is. It's a Trigger 700 by 38C Sport Black Belt. See if you, hopefully I can see this. I pretty much wiped down that section of the tire so you can see what it is. I don't usually clean my tires. The bike, yes, the frame, but not the tires, because I believe that the tires give you a history of where have you been and what you've been doing. So if you notice, I don't know if you can really see it, but you might see some grays and browns. The brown dirt is pretty much for the desert trails I cut through getting to work, and the grays is pretty much the alleyways I cut through. So that's what I do. I like looking for shortcuts. I guess it's part of my New York state of mind when I was a bike messenger, always finding places to ride through to get to my destination in minutes. So one feature I really appreciate on the Specialized CT disc is the fork. Has this lock feature going on. So if you right now is on lock. So if you're riding off pavement, it pretty much gives you that steady flow. And if you want to go and get into what I do, if you find a alleyway with one of those gravel settings or dirt, mud, I pretty much unlock it. So you got to reach down and unlock it. I mean, depending how you ride. I usually just ride and try to unlock it as the best I can to my ability. And another thing I like also is the handlebars. Handlebars are pretty much mountain bike quality with some curves. It's not a straight handlebar. And of course, we have the nice grips, body geometry. Not sure if you can see it, but there it is, body geometry. So pretty much I like the handlebars because I'm not no real trail rider. I mean, I hit trails, but I'm not going. I just like the control, especially when I do pretty much the city streets or the community. The roads are like pretty much my own personal playground. So I like cutting and making easy sharp turns and so forth. The lights, pretty much I bought them myself about over $20. I think $24.99. Some currency like that, and Arizona state law, it goes well with New York as well. You gotta have lights, especially if you do night riding, and I do a lot of night riding. And not to bypass the hand grips, love these grips because it doesn't make my hand numb. So I had that problem when I was on a Walmart bike, aka the Mongoose trail bike. So that's another story. And this is pretty much it is actually a 3x8, so it's an 8-speed bike. Looking forward to for a conversion. Pretty much gonna convert it to a 1x8, maybe in the future a 1x10. So I had this bike for about no more than a month. I already done at least, now I don't want to over exaggerate, but into 200 into 300 miles. Because I commute to work, so to get to work is about 6 miles. And if I do take the shortcut, it's probably 4.5 to 5 miles, depending how I feel. And my shortcut, if you're familiar with Arizona, especially the northern part, one of my favorite shortcuts, but the trail is damaged. Not all of it, but it's tricky on this bike. Is Pinnacle Peak. So this is the bike I use to cut through Pinnacle Peak. Sometimes I kind of wipe out because there's this sandy section. But sometimes I get through. Sometimes I have to stop and walk across the sandy part. Then it goes back into dirt, rocky, then into pavement. I mean, it's a nice trail. It's a nice practice trail, to be honest. I mean, I appreciate it because we don't have too many of those trails back in the east, especially in New York. So also want to point out the seat, the saddle has that space right here going on. So for us men, to protect our, give us some, family jewel space. And as well, the seat post is, I believe, is alloy. And the frame itself is actually A1 aluminum. So it's a pretty much a light bike. It's not heavy. Well, for me, it's pretty light. And of course, we have our disc brakes here. And, we have, easy, quick release wheels and stuff. So I advise you to have pretty good, decent U-locks, and that's what I got right over there with my helmet. It's pretty much my biking stuff, so. And anything else? If you guys got any advice and tips on how many teeth, because right now I'm using a 38 teeth in the front, and the rest in the back, I'm not sure the numbers, but pretty much I know it's I want to convert it to a 1x8 because that's pretty much the only crank I use, and I want to pretty much master the 38 and then one day convert it into a 40 or something. So that's pretty much in the next future. Pretty much maybe in a week or two, do the conversion. It doesn't really cost much to do that, and I'm pretty much going to keep the same parts. And I think the derailleur is going to stay to be the chain guide for that for the 1.8 conversion. And another thing I like is that it comes with you can add a fender, I guess, but at this time I don't need it because it doesn't rain much out here in Arizona. I mean, since I moved out here, I really appreciate the rain and snow. And as well, it's the same in the back. You can add fenders in the back. So this is pretty much, in my opinion, a real awesome bike. I mean, I used to be a bike messenger, and this is the bike that I would love to use in my messaging days. I mean, the brakes, the tires, the puncture resistant tires, the fork control, the pedals is pretty decent. Nylon, some nylon jump off, something that comes with the bike, so that could be upgraded one day. There's nothing to rush about. So anything else? And the price range for this bike goes for no more than 600. Just because I have the disc brakes. If you want to get it with the rim brakes, it's gonna be less. And then on the used market, if you can find this bike used, you might catch it for 300 into 350, and it's a bike worth getting, especially if you like to commute to work and then doing some weekend adventures on a decent, not so heavy trail like some park trails I've experienced back in New York. This would have been perfect. Like, it rides pretty smooth. I mean, I really have no complaints on this bike, to be honest. Like, if you noticed on my seat post, I had to raise it up a notch. I'm still adjusting my height to the seat, So I want to get to the point that I don't want to really lock the knees and, cause any knee strain, knee damage. So far I got it. I'm not sure if it's perfect yet, but I'm still working with it, and it's actually much more comfortable since I raised the seat. So for this model, I've noticed that it comes in two colors. This is 2014. The only colors that I was available to get was this one or all black. And kind of getting tired of the all black style bikes. I mean, like I said, from New York, that's pretty much the norm. Like, everything, we like dark colors out there. So I decided, you know what, since I'm starting my life out here in Arizona, let me get a different color. And I'm really glad I made that decision, because it comes to the point when the sun hits the bike, it does one of these light and dark things. I don't know what kind of paint they use or what they did, but even the bike shop guys, they drew over this bike on, and they're professionals, and you can tell they're no joke over there. It's this place I like. Becoming a loyal customer over there. It's called XL Bikes. So it's a great place. I like it. The people are real, and they're the ones that actually convinced me to ditch the Walmart bike and be real with myself. So yeah. So this is my quick review on this bike, and hoping that eventually I get a GoPro cam so I could do some bike rides with it, so I could show you what this bike